Hi, and welcome back to my channel. This is Marcia Van's Art coming to you from the beautiful Finger Lakes of New York State. In my first video, we talked about the different items that we were going to be doing in the next few videos, that being journals, paintings, stenciling. And so today I had a request from someone who doesn't know how to stencil and thought that it would be good if I demonstrated how I do my stenciling. So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. You might be wondering what these things are in front of me here. And in the end, after I'm all done, I'll be showing you what we'll be doing with them, and we'll decide which ones we like best on the item we're going to be doing. So I'm going to remove these to the side. It's a stencil that I worked on. Tonight, we're going to be using this stencil. It's a new stencil I received from Ciao Bella from MK Woods and out of Virginia. And this is what it will look like. This is on paper. We're not going to be doing on paper tonight. That is one way of stenciling always, is on paper. And I will show you some examples of that after we're done with the canvas. Tonight we're going to be concentrating on painting on a piece of canvas, which we will then turn into a vase cover. I have several flowers here that I have purchased from Hobby Lobby. They had a big sale, 75% off. So I purchased several different varieties. And tonight we're going to be working with these colors, which I thought were really pretty. And we'll be covering this vase because it's not very attractive to see this when you have your flowers put in a vase. So we're going to be working on a nice stencil for us. So in picking canvas, there's several different types. One is Frederick's Art, very good quality canvas, probably the best of the canvases. Then there's a canvas paper, which is fine too, but not for this particular process that we'll be doing. And there's trying to think what the name of the other, Artist Loft puts out a nice canvas. Could use that. And Strathmore also makes a nice canvas. Often I use the canvases that are on frames already. I'll paint on them, and then I'll take them off the frame and use them to cover my vases or other items that I might be making. So I just want to check this video, make sure it's still going. And so then that's a little bit of interest that you need to know on the canvas. Next, I want to talk to you about how you prepare your canvas for painting. I learned a long time ago that if you paint your canvas in this direction and you give it a second coat, you want to go in this direction. That gives you a nice smooth canvas. So you go vertical one way and horizontal the other, and you'll always get a nice result. So today we're going to be using Distress Oxides and also Distress Inks, which are Tim Holtz products, and they work really well on canvas. I think even better than paints, because paints are a little bit harder to control. These oxides and inks work a lot easier, and you can get your shading done a little more proficiently. This is the canvas, and we're going to align it up. Unfortunately, the canvas is slightly bigger than the stencil. That causes a little bit of a problem, but we'll just have to deal with it. And I'll start at the top, and I'll line up the edge also, so we know we're right to the edge. And that helps us to, when we move it along, we can line it all up easier. I'm going to tape it down so it doesn't move on us. But I also want to be able to pick it up and peek underneath to make sure I'm getting the result that I want. Now, as you may or may not know, stenciling has been around for a very, very long time. I would say it's in the vintage time, if not an antique time. I can remember my mother many, many, many years ago doing it on furniture, actually. And I still have one of her pieces today. So it's always been a little bit of part of my life. So I thought that'd be a good place for us to start. This is my second video, and just trying to get everything down so I present it all correctly, and hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to tell you. So basically, in stenciling, you want to start with the lightest of color, and you want to start with, in this case, I'm going to be using a yellow. And the object in stenciling is not to go too harsh to begin. I need to get a paper towel. You want to use a lighter touch. Now with the inks, it's a little bit easier to control because they're not quite as hard to deal with as paints when you first start out. You can see a little bit of it there. I'm trying to keep the lighter areas more towards the inside of this design, and move on out to some darker shading as we go to the outside. But I want to get this yellow established because I'm going to most likely go over it with a little pink, which will turn it to a sort of a little peachy color. Just pick this up, okay. Very difficult to even see yet because it's so light, but once we add a little pink to it, this is Picked Raspberry. It's a distress ink, one of Tim Holtz's. I'm going to take most of it off of the brush because I don't want it to be real strong, but it may give us a nice little peach type color. And as I've mentioned before, being here in the Finger Lakes, I have quite a few interesting stories and facts because our relatives pretty much started their lives here. And one of the things that one of my ancestors did back in the late 1700s, early 1800s, was along Canandaigua Lake, which is one of the Finger Lakes. They planted at a place called Granger Point peach trees. And they had bought this land and they were so excited to put these peach trees up. And they did. And the next year, a great flood came, and unfortunately, all the peach trees were demolished in the flood. So it was a really sad time for them, of course. You can imagine just starting out with getting some plantings done and trying to survive in a new country. And so anyway, just kind of an interesting tidbit. So let's see if we have a little bit of a peachy look here. Yes, right in there. So let's continue to move this pink a little to the outside here. Not where the yellow is, but where the yellow is not. You can see I'm kind of working for a pastel look. Our flowers are pastel that I'm going to be using tonight, and I thought that would marry up really well with this type of coloring in the stenciling. As you can hear, I'm tapping off as every time I load this brush, because I don't want it to be too heavy and form a blob in one area. So we're getting a nice glow. Let's see how it looks. Pretty. Let's get this little fuzzy out of here. I want to continue down a little bit, but then I'm going to start adding other colors. All right, let's switch to light blue, which is, well, actually, let's use this one, Distressed Tumbled Glass, Distressed Oxide. I have new brushes. I highly recommend them for this kind of stenciling with the inks. I think they're nice and soft, and they don't become harsh on your project. So we're going to put some of this color around more towards the outside, I guess. Turned a little bit purple on me. I wasn't really wanting it to be that purple. I think maybe I'll switch to a green. This is Shabby Shutters, Distress Oxide. It's a really pretty green. It'll add a nice dimension to this vase cover. I don't know how I got started on these vase covers. I was just, I don't know, painting a design one day, actually with a paintbrush. And for some reason I thought, gee, this would be nice to wrap around a piece of glass and use as a vase cover. I had some beautiful hydrangeas that year, and I was trying to look for a way to enhance the flowers, and so that's how I ended up coming up with this idea. And I've enjoyed doing it and have given many away, and people seem to really enjoy them. I have a florist who really fell in love with these when she saw them, because you can, you know, coordinate your colors with your flowers so beautifully. And when I'm done, I think you'll see what I mean. So let's move on for now. We're going to come back and go over that again with some colors that will coordinate with it. Now, this is going to be tough to see because lining it up is the tricky part. There we go. I try to line this flower up here with the one that was before it. So we need to start over again with our yellow. Because we want to keep that in the center area. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's just a circular motion. With the inks, you don't want to press too hard, but you don't want to be too light either, because that just makes for a very prolonged painting. And when you, as you can see, you can't really see the yellow against the cream color, but when you put the next color over top of it, that's when it comes alive. When this is what makes stenciling interesting, is seeing what you can come up with. Just stand up, maybe I can see, line this up a little bit better. You can see it's off at the bottom. There we go. I think that's good. So then we're going to switch back to our pink. Take a paler pink to start with. Whoops, that ended up a little darker than I wanted. So we'll see if we can blend that out. Hopefully we can. If not, somehow I have to camouflage it. Those are the things that happen when you least expect it. It's just a little bit darker than the rest. That's, really okay. I'll just make it a little more intense up here so it'll look like it was supposed to be there. You can usually make corrections. Sometimes it's easier than others, but I say there's always a way to fix things. You could always cover it up with a pretty flower. Get some of this yellow, sort of a peachy color. It's kind of where I'm headed with this. I'm going to switch to the green. Pretty. It's one of the prettiest greens I've seen in the stamping world. Well, unfortunately, that moved a little bit. That's okay. I'll just put it back. Tape it down so it doesn't happen again. One time I did my kitchen frieze on the top of my cabinets. It's called a frieze, F-R-I-E-Z-E or S-E. Took me days to do because I did several layers of color. But it turned out great in the end, so that was work. This little project here is much more fun. Not quite so tedious. Okay, I want to make this little pinker up here to go with this little pink down here. There we go. Better. So we need to move on again. Find our point of reference. Fortunately, that came undone. Excuse my arm. There we go. It's amazing how when you stand up, you can see so much better. Unfortunately, the repeat on this is such that you have to go farther than you want to for the next one because you lose a lot of the stencil. Just makes the process slower. But we'll get there. And I know the result's going to be great, so have patience and keep going. This also is a really nice project to do on in your journals. You can make your own papers this way, so very artsy looking. And no one else will have one like it. It can be just yours, which makes it kind of fun and personal. Sorry, I get a little quiet there. When I'm concentrating, I tend to be quiet. Hopefully you've maybe got a stencil in your house. You can be stenciling along with me. That would be great. And if you have any questions I can answer for you, I'd be happy to answer if you leave a comment. I appreciate all the comments. I'm so new to this that I'm having a lot of fun and enjoying the process of getting my projects in order so I can demo to you. And that's a little stuck down there, so let's move it on. I think one more and we should be done with the first round anyway. Just stand up again. You can imagine doing something like this on a wall. People years ago used to do this all the time. And line up the stencil and away they go. For some reason, I'm having a harder time with this one here. I can see it, but I can't put it on there. I'm sure you're saying, there it is, and there it is. So hopefully this is the last shot in this part of it anyway. So we can get to the fun part, which is putting it together and showing you how beautiful it will be on your decorative vase. These would make beautiful centerpiece vases for a shower, a wedding, a birthday, any kind of event like that. At one time, my sister was in charge of an event, and she asked me to do the centerpieces, and I made something for them, and it was something I had never done before. It was out of paper, and I put flowers on it. I painted flowers on it and put it into like a rectangular shape around a vase. So it almost looked like a sailboat sail on both sides. It was so pretty and got a lot of compliments. So just got to try things and look outside the box and think about creating something new. That's the fun of art. And this is an art form for sure. It has been for years, and I'm sure it will be for years to come. We just have to keep finding new ways to use it, which hopefully I'm showing you tonight. Let's see how it looks here. Okay. Just a tiny bit more here. Trying to go by the bottom here to start and then try to find the flower after that. If anybody out there has a better idea how to line it up, let me know. Shouldn't be this difficult. Well, we're gonna go with this. It's on the edge anyway, so it's probably not gonna show on the back side now, so I'm not too worried about it. I think this will be the back side. So I think I'm just gonna fill in with a little bit of color. And then we have to do the bottom, and then we'll be done with that part. These are pretty nice stencils. I did another one the other day with one of the stencils I had, an older stencil, and it was this one here. And it's really flimsy, so it's kind of falling apart. So I ordered these hoping that they would be a thicker mylar, and they are, so they're easier to use. I got them from, like I said, Virginia. MK Wood Products on Etsy is where I found them. And they were here in 2 days. So they got here really quickly. I think I'm just going to continue on down here with this green, and then I'll come back and I'll probably go over it with a little bit of rosy color. Sure, that's going down on my one behind it, which is fine. Fill this in with a little bit of green to blend it up here to make it more blended. There we go. You see, I had to adjust that just a little bit down here at the bottom because it was just a little bit off. So you just have to keep track of where you're going, where you've been, and keep adjusting as you go. So I'll keep going this way. Here we are. Green. lovely, lovely green. Please, if you have any suggestions of other things you'd like me to demo, I'd be happy to. And in the future, I'll be working on other painted projects, showing you different methods. Wow, you can use them in your journals and other various things around the house. I really like to take advantage of all the beautiful things that we have our ability to get our hands on and to use in our home, just to make it more beautiful. And one of the things we'll be doing are, again, painting on canvas, but it will be for, well, I'm calling them kind of doorknob decorations, or they can go on the wall also. And they will be probably the next project, unless you have something else that you want me to do. I need to stand up and look at this and see how it's looking. See if there's anything else I want to do. I'll put it up next to the flowers I'm planning to use and see how it goes. This is the vase of flowers. This is what will happen. It wraps around, glues in the back. That's pretty good the way it is. I think I might just add a little more pinky down in here to blend some of that color down. Maybe a little up here. Now the next fun thing we can do to decorate this vase is decide what trim we might want to put at the top or not. It doesn't have to have trim, but I pulled out these trims that I showed you in the beginning. That would be kind of pretty. I like that. I'll pull this down so you can see some more of these flowers. Pulls out the goldy color that we got when we made like a peach color there with the yellow and the pink overlay. Now you can go back and you can actually add more contrast if you want, but that's not what I'm trying to get after tonight. I'm trying to keep it pastel-y and soft, because that's what I feel like the flowers are calling for. This would be another beautiful trim at the top, depending on what your decor is. Very pretty. We also have this color, which brings out this here. That's pretty. Brings out the gold again. And then last but not least, I thought this would be beautiful in like a, like I said, a shower or a wedding party for a table cover. Take this lace, or not lace, excuse me, nylon, wrap it around, make a bow with it. Very feminine, very wedding-like, I guess. And that would be that one. So, in the comments, let me know what your favorite is. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more of stenciling and how else to use it, there's a couple other little things I did just to show you. This is the same design, but a little bit different coloring, a little more brown tones in it. And then if you wanted, it could be a great note card. On here, you could, if someone was getting engaged, you could put this sweet box with a ring in it, engagement wedding ring. Or even this would be pretty for a general kind of note to a friend. Really sweet, I thought. Also, I did, just for demonstration purposes, for a journal I'm doing, this is just an envelope that I folded over, stenciled this, it's a different stencil, then picked and added this. It's a pocket here, so this will fit inside. And that can go inside your journal as one of your pages that you can put things behind or inside. So that's a couple of ideas there. And the other thing I wanted to show you was the one that I made. Where did I do it? Lastly, this is another design. This is this design that I mentioned. It's kind of fallen apart. That would go with these flowers also. Then I added this little medallion flower in the middle. I thought it was kind of pretty. So that's more of your blues and greens, yellows, pinks. A little different than this one, but this is lovely. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will like and subscribe, and that really would help me a lot. And tell your friends about me, would you? Because it's hard to get your name out in this big world. So I'd appreciate anything that you could do to help me out. So anyway, have a great day, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon with a new idea, a design for your house. Have a good night.